What if I told you that right now, just inches away from your body, there's an invisible spiral containing everything you've ever wanted? Your dream relationship, financial abundance, perfect health, your life's purpose, all of it, fully formed and ready to be accessed. But there's something blocking you from reaching it. And in the next minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what that barrier is and how to dissolve it forever. Before we dive deep into this life-changing content, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for Attraction Magnet. Drop a comment below telling me what area of your life needs the most transformation right now, and smash that like button if you're ready to finally break through to the reality you deserve. Trust me, you'll want to save this video and come back to it again and again. Let me ask you something brutally honest. How many videos have you watched about positive thinking, manifestation, and the law of attraction? 10? 50? Maybe hundreds? And let me guess, you feel amazing while watching them. You're pumped up, motivated, ready to conquer the world. You can practically feel the universe conspiring in your favor. But then tomorrow comes. The alarm goes off. Your partner says something that triggers you. You check your bank account and feel that familiar knot in your stomach. Your boss sends that email. The medical test results aren't what you hoped. Your best friend betrays your trust. And suddenly, all that positive vibration, gone. Vanished like it never existed. This is the question that haunts everyone who studies the law of attraction, and it's the question I get asked more than any other. How do I maintain a positive vibration when my real life is falling apart? How do you vibrate positively when your relationship just ended and the person you loved is already with someone else? How do you maintain high frequency when someone you love has passed away and the grief feels unbearable? How do you stay in alignment when you can't pay your bills, your debt is mounting, and you don't see a way out? These aren't hypothetical questions. These are real situations that real people face every single day. And here's what nobody wants to admit. Most law of attraction teachings completely fail when faced with actual chaos. They work great in theory. They work great when life is already going well. But when the storm hits, when reality punches you in the face, that's when most of this spiritual knowledge crumbles like a house of cards. But not today. Today, we're going to explore this topic with raw honesty and practical wisdom. No fairy tales, no toxic positivity. No, just think happy thoughts and everything will be fine. Nonsense. If you've been following Attraction Magnet, you know I don't do that. I give you the real deal, the methods that actually work when you're in the trenches of life. You didn't arrive at this video by accident. There are no coincidences. You're here at exactly the right moment to receive this message. Maybe you've studied manifestation for years, or maybe you're just beginning. Either way, there's something in this video that's going to click for you. A missing piece that's going to make everything else finally make sense. I know this because I've lived it. So let's dive in. Here's the first fundamental truth you need to understand, and I mean really understand at a cellular level. There are two worlds coexisting simultaneously right now. The external world and your internal world. And they are completely, absolutely, fundamentally different things. Neville Goddard, one of the greatest teachers of manifestation who ever lived, said it perfectly. You are not a victim of the world you see because you invented it. Read that again. You are not a victim of the world you see because you invented it. Now, before you get defensive and say, wait, I didn't invent my problems, stay with me. This is where most people misunderstand the teaching. When something happens in the external world, it's just a fact. It's information. It's an event. A neutral occurrence in the field of existence. But here's what we do. We give that external event permission to invade our internal world. We open the gates and let it destroy our inner peace, our vibration, our alignment with source energy. Let me give you a concrete example. Let's say someone steals your phone, accesses your bank account, and drains every dollar you have. Horrible, right? Devastating. I'm not going to minimize that, but here's the critical question. Where did this event happen? In the external world. Now, here's the second question. Does this external event have to destroy your internal world? And this is where most people get it wrong. They say, "Of course it does. How could it not? My money is gone." But the truth is, allowing that external event to destroy your internal world, while completely understandable and common, is rarely the most intelligent response. Esther Hicks, channeling Abraham, teaches us about the emotional guidance system. She says we have the power to choose our emotional response to any circumstance. The circumstance is just a circumstance. Your internal world is where your true power lives. So, in this phone theft situation, what can you do in the external world? You can file a police report. You can check security cameras. You can contact your bank. You can dispute the charges. You can take practical action. Will these actions solve the problem? Maybe. Maybe not. And here's the hard truth. If they don't solve the problem, what then? You'll have to deal with it. You'll have to work to earn that money back. You might have to ask for help. You might have to adjust your lifestyle temporarily. And that's okay. There's an old saying that applies perfectly here. What can't be cured must be endured. But let's really examine what this means. It means that when something cannot be fixed or changed, the only solution is to accept the situation and deal with it in the best possible way. The best attitude is acceptance and adaptation. If nothing can be done about the situation, we must adapt and move forward. And if something can be done, we'll try until the situation resolves itself. But here's the key, and this is where everything changes. We do this with lightness, levity, the ability to take life less seriously and even laugh at ourselves and what happens to us. This is what Bob Proctor called being in harmony with life. He taught that resistance creates suffering, but flow creates miracles. Events in the external world will never stop happening. Never. That's not how life works. What we need to develop is a way to prevent external events from destroying our internal world. And this, my friend, is called neutrality. Now, you might be wondering, how do I develop this neutrality? How do I create this barrier between the chaos outside and the peace inside? This is where we introduce the BECA Framework, the foundation of everything I teach on this channel. BECA is an acronym that represents the 4 pillars that form your personal vibration. B, beliefs. E, emotions. C, communication. A, actions. These 4 pillars together create your vibrational field, and your vibrational field, in turn, attracts or repels like a magnet every situation and opportunity in your life. Wallace Wattles, author of The Science of Getting Rich, wrote over a century ago, "There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe." Your vibrational field is your personal interaction with this thinking stuff. It's how you're broadcasting your signal into the universe. If your field vibrates at a high frequency, you attract great opportunities and excellent situations. If your frequency is low, filled with pain and suffering, you only attract more of the same. That's pure reality. You can argue with me. You can complain. You can look for exceptions. But if you pause, reflect maturely, watch this video several times, take notes, you will come face to face with the truth. This is how life works. And the faster we learn to navigate life this way, the better it gets. Now, here's what's absolutely crucial to understand. All 4 pillars of your vibration, your BECA, are components of your internal world. This means they can be worked on and improved by you. They don't depend on others. They don't depend on external circumstances. They depend entirely on your commitment to your own growth. Let's break down each pillar. Beliefs. This is what you firmly believe without questioning. It's your mentality, your worldview. Joe Dispenza calls this your subconscious programming. It's the operating system running in the background of your mind, determining what you think is possible or impossible. Emotions. These represent your deepest feelings about life, about yourself, what you feel about others, what makes your heart vibrate. Napoleon Hill said, "Emotions are the most powerful forces in the human body. They're the fuel that powers your manifestations." Communication. This represents the connections you make, whether internal, that conversation with yourself, with other people, or with the external world, with the Creator, with existence itself. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that words are like boomerangs. They always return to us. Actions. These represent the union of the first 3 pillars transformed into practical behavior, what you actually do in the concrete world. But everything is forged within you first. Are you starting to see the pattern here? Everything starts inside. Rhonda Byrne, in The Secret, emphasized, "Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality." But here's what she didn't fully explain in that book, and what most teachers miss. How do you maintain that frequency match when external chaos is trying to knock you off your center? That's what we're solving right now. Here's the secret that could change your entire life starting today. You use the communication pillar to modulate the emotion pillar. Read that again. Let it sink in. This is premium content that I could easily put in my paid courses. But I'm giving it to you here because this issue is too important and affects too many people. Your communication pillar affects 3 areas of your life. 1. Internal communication. You communicate with yourself. You talk to yourself constantly. Most people don't even realize this is happening. But there's a voice in your head right now, commenting, judging, advising, criticizing. 2. External communication. This is what you do with other people. You communicate with words, but mainly with attitudes and body language. Your energy speaks louder than your words ever could. 3. Transcendent communication. This is what you do when you connect with the divine, when you pray, meditate, contemplate, when you speak with non-physical entities, when you seek spiritual help. This is your communication with the infinite intelligence that some call God, Source, Universe, or Higher Self. Now here's the game-changing technique. First, place a filter between external communication and your internal world. When anything happens, no matter what it is, you're going to say to yourself, "This is just an event. It's a fact. It's information coming from the external world to me. Nothing more. No positive or negative charge. My internal world is strong, and I will not allow this information to invade me and cause an emotional tsunami." Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches about the power of the observer effect in quantum physics. He says, "The moment you decide to observe your automatic thoughts and no longer let them lead you, you are now in a position to change." This phrase acts literally like a filter, a barrier between external events and your internal world. You observe, but you don't absorb. This is not suppression. This is not denial. This is conscious choice. Let me give you a real example. Let's say you get fired from your job unexpectedly. Old reaction. Oh my God, I'm ruined. How will I pay my bills? What will people think? I'm such a failure. My life is over. New reaction with the filter. I've lost my job. This is an external event. It's information. My internal world remains intact. I have skills, experience, and the ability to create new opportunities. This might even be a gift in disguise, pushing me toward something better. I choose to remain centered while I take practical action. See the difference? The external situation is the same, but the internal response is completely different. Second, strengthen your internal communication. This is where most people completely fail. They have zero deliberate, conscious internal communication. Ask yourself right now, do you communicate with yourself deliberately? Do you listen to your body? Do you listen to your mind? Do you hear your intuition? Do you have clearly defined boundaries within yourself? Most people are like missiles, traveling thousands of miles per hour with no route, no awareness that they could crash at any second. You need to develop better internal communication. Listen to yourself more. Speak to yourself in a harmonious, positive way. Louise Hay revolutionized the self-help world with this exact principle. She taught that the way we talk to ourselves creates our reality. Her mirror work technique changed millions of lives simply by changing internal dialogue. This internal conversation is perhaps the richest tool in BECA and the most ignored by people. The conversation you have with yourself must be effective enough to help you reach the E in BECA. Emotion. You need to learn to master your emotions. And when I say master, I mean master them positively. I mean develop emotional intelligence and stop being dominated by your emotions. Do you understand the difference? This is true emotional intelligence. Look at card number 11 in the tarot, the Strength card. This archetype reveals a woman taming a lion through a pelvic dance. She's not applying any force to tame this lion. She's not suffering. She's dancing with the lion, enchanting the animal with her dance, with no need to apply brute force. The lion represents our deepest emotions, our instincts, our animalistic nature. Carl Jung would call this the shadow self, the unconscious drives that can control us if we don't integrate them consciously. All of this needs to be tamed over time, because it's very easy to put yourself in a victim position and say, "But you don't live what I live. My problems are too big to overcome." Really? Are you really going to let an external event have such great power over you for your entire life? You are so much bigger than that. Take yourself less seriously. Take life less seriously. How many years do you still have ahead? Life is a breath. Don't waste it fighting. You don't need to fight. The fight doesn't even exist. It's a hologram created to keep you dreaming, inert. Byron Katie teaches this beautifully in Loving What Is. Treese, she says, when you argue with reality, you lose, but only 100% of the time. The fight against what is only creates suffering. Acceptance creates peace. And from peace, inspired action can emerge. Life begins when we stop letting the external world affect us so much. This is up to you to learn to do and practice until you have mastery over it. Once you do this, we become lighter people. We have more fun. We become enchanting people. Look, problems will never stop happening. Never, ever. They will always present themselves to you. That's the game. And the bigger you grow, the bigger the problems become. If you let yourself be dominated by problems, you get stuck. You can't move forward anymore. This is classic. Eckhart Tolle teaches about the pain body, the accumulated emotional pain that lives inside us and feeds on drama and problems. When you stop feeding it, when you stop identifying with your problems, it begins to dissolve. When you begin to dissolve the materialistic view of life and start to perceive that everything is vibration, it's easier to see that every problem has a solution. If there's no solution in the external world, there's a solution in the internal world. Because it's very easy to blame the guy who hit your car, the politician, the other person, always someone else. What's difficult is taking responsibility for your own internal world and working on yourself. When you realize that every issue is a vibrational issue, a clear path opens to understand that we live in a multidimensional universe where thousands of dimensions of reality coexist with the one we're experiencing here now. This isn't mystical nonsense. Quantum physics has proven that multiple states exist simultaneously until observation collapses them into one reality. David Bohm, the renowned physicist, called this the implicate order, the underlying reality where all possibilities exist in potential form before manifesting in what he called the explicate order, our physical reality. How can people on the same planet live in such different internal conditions? How can a person who has everything handed to them on a silver platter be eternally dissatisfied, while there are people who have absolutely nothing or very little and are happy? Look at money. Prosperity is just one of the equations of life, and it's not even the most important one. The most important will always be your internal state, your internal environment, because it doesn't matter if you have hundreds of thousands of dollars and you're an unhappy person, without perspective, depressed, without friends. Jim Carrey said it perfectly. I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of, so they can see that it's not the answer. The only way to have a full and fulfilled life is by building an internal environment of love, lightness, prosperity, health. And this is a choice. It's a choice you make every day and every moment. Marianne Williamson teaches, we are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory that is within us. But we can't shine when we're contracted, when we're vibrating at the frequency of problems instead of possibilities. Now think with me. What if I told you that there's a state of consciousness where everything you want to experience in this incarnation, in this life, in this existence, already exists, and all you need to do is stop rowing away from it? Today I'm going to do a reveal for you, a revelation that could change everything. Let's imagine now that there's a spiral of energy coming from the center of your chest, a powerful energetic field. Can you imagine it? Visualize it right now. See it spinning, glowing, alive with potential. Now I ask you, what are your greatest desires in all areas of life? Start naming them one by one and placing them inside this spiral. Put everything you want to experience. Is it a specific car? A certain relationship condition? Living in a particular place? Working at a specific company or creating a business? Is it having more health, more emotional control? Is it being happier? Is it understanding your greater life purpose? Financial freedom? Creative expression? Deep, meaningful relationships? Contribution to humanity? Put it all in there. Everything. Don't hold back. What if I told you that within this spiral, everything you want already exists? It's already formed. It's already there, ready, waiting to be accessed. Neville Goddard called this living in the end. He taught that the reality you desire already exists in the quantum field, in what he called the fourth dimension of consciousness. Where is this spiral? Right here, a few inches from you, right now. So when you're light, free, loose, you naturally expand your vibrational field. You expand your consciousness, your perception, and you touch your desire spiral. Then you have access to it. What happens when you touch your spiral? Inspirations begin to arrive in your internal world. Opportunities you never imagined appear in the external world. Synchronicities multiply. The right people show up. Resources appear. Doors open that you didn't even know existed. This is what Deepak Chopra calls synchrodestiny, the spontaneous fulfillment of desire through synchronistic events. Now let's say you're worried, saying, "This is too difficult. It's not as easy as she's saying. Everything is complicated. The country is in a difficult phase. The world is in a difficult phase." What happens when you ruminate on this? You begin to contract, to shrink your field. This contracted field will stop touching the desire spiral, stop aligning with it. But this contracted field of worries and problems will also create your reality. Because every vibrational field creates reality through the force of thought and the power of feeling. You're thinking that the government is this, that the war is that your health problem has no solution, that you're always in debt, that you can't find anyone decent to be in a relationship with. You're generating an anti-spiral, which is all the garbage you don't want in your life, that you fear, but that you can't get out of your head, out of your heart. Michael Beckwith teaches about the life visioning process, the practice of getting so clear on what you want that your vision pulls you toward it like a magnet. But you can't create a clear vision when you're focused on what you don't want. What switch do you need to flip? Which one? Expand your personal field to touch the realization spiral. Do you understand now graphically? Can you see it? And how do you do this? By working your BECA: beliefs, emotions, communication, and actions. In other words, by working your personal vibration. Let's get extremely practical now. I'm going to give you specific techniques you can use starting today, right now, to maintain high vibration even when chaos surrounds you. Technique number 1, the observer practice. Every morning when you wake up, before you check your phone, before you do anything, place your hand on your heart and say, "Today, I am the observer of my life. Events will happen, but I choose which ones get to enter my internal world. I am the guardian of my own peace. I am the master of my vibration." This sets your intention for the day. You're programming your subconscious before the external world bombards you with stimuli. Dr. Bruce Lipton, in The Biology of Belief, shows that our subconscious programming runs 95% of our lives. When you consciously reprogram it, you change everything. Technique number 2, the emotional reset. When something happens that triggers you, use this 3-step process. Pause. Literally, stop. Take 3 deep breaths. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system and takes you out of fight or flight mode. Label. Say to yourself, "This is happening in the external world. My internal world is safe." Name the emotion you're feeling without judgment. "I notice I'm feeling anger," or "I notice I'm feeling fear." Choose. Consciously choose your response. "I choose to remain centered. I choose to see this as information, not as an identity. I choose my peace over this drama." Technique. Number 3, the gratitude anchor. No matter what's happening, find 3 things to be grateful for in that exact moment. Lost your job? I'm grateful for the skills I've developed, the roof over my head right now, and the opportunity this creates for something new. Relationship ended? I'm grateful for what I learned, that I'm capable of love, and that I now have space for something more aligned. This isn't toxic positivity. This is pattern interruption. You're training your brain to look for possibility instead of catastrophe. Esther Hicks teaches that appreciation is the closest vibrational match to source energy. When you appreciate, you elevate. Technique. Number 4, the energy audit. At the end of each day, do a quick audit. What expanded my energy today? What contracted my energy today? What can I do more of tomorrow? What can I do less of tomorrow? This simple practice builds awareness, and awareness is the first step to transformation. Technique number 5, the future self visualization. Before sleep, spend 5 minutes visualizing your future self who has already achieved what you desire. Don't visualize from a place of lack. I wish I had this. Visualize from a place of already being it. Feel how that version of you walks, talks, makes decisions. What does your day look like? How do you handle challenges? Then ask, what would my future self do about this situation I'm facing now? This is what Dr. Benjamin Hardy calls being pulled by the future, rather than pushed by the past. Let's go deeper into neutrality, because this is where most people struggle. Neutrality doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you become cold or detached or robotic. True neutrality is the ability to experience the full range of human emotions without being controlled by them. It's the difference between I am angry and I notice anger moving through me. One is identification. The other is observation. The Stoic philosophers understood this thousands of years ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." But here's what they didn't emphasize enough, and what modern manifestation teachers often miss. Neutrality is a skill that must be practiced. You don't just wake up one day with perfect neutrality. You build it through repetition, through choosing your response over and over again until it becomes automatic. Think of it like building muscle at the gym. The first time you try to lift a weight, it's hard, really hard. But you keep showing up, keep lifting, and eventually, what once seemed impossible becomes easy. Your emotional resilience works the same way. Every time you choose neutrality in the face of chaos, you're strengthening that muscle. Every time you observe without absorbing, you're training yourself. Here's a powerful reframe that can help. Life isn't happening to you. Life is happening for you. Everything, and I mean everything, is an opportunity for growth, for evolution, for becoming more of who you're meant to be. Tony Robbins teaches that life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Every challenge is a chance to expand. That job loss? An opportunity to discover work that actually fulfills you. That breakup? A chance to heal old wounds and attract a more aligned partner. That financial crisis? A wake-up call to build better systems and habits. That health scare? A reminder that your body is precious and deserves care. When you shift from victim to student, everything changes. The Buddhists call this sama vayama, right effort. It's the practice of cultivating wholesome states and abandoning unwholesome ones. Here's where we go even deeper into the metaphysics of why this all works. You're not just a physical body having occasional spiritual experiences. You're a spiritual being having a temporary physical experience. Your consciousness is not contained in your brain. Your brain is a receiver, like a radio tuning into stations that already exist. David Bohm, the quantum physicist I mentioned earlier, worked closely with Einstein and proposed that the entire universe is a hologram. In a hologram, every piece contains the whole. Cut a holographic image in half, and you don't get half an image. You get the whole image from a different angle. This means that you, right now, contain the entire universe within you. Every possibility, every potential reality, every version of your life already exists in the quantum field. What determines which version you experience? Your vibration. your frequency, your BECA. Greg Braden, who bridges science and spirituality, teaches that feeling is the language that speaks to the divine matrix. So, the universe doesn't respond to your words or even your thoughts. It responds to the feeling behind them. This is why you can't think yourself into abundance while feeling poor. You can't visualize love while feeling unworthy. You can't affirm health while feeling sick. The feeling is the key. And your feelings come from your internal environment, your BECA, which is entirely within your control. This is empowering once you truly grasp it, because it means no external circumstance has ultimate power over you. Yes, external things happen. Yes, they're real. Yes, they can be painful or challenging, but they don't get to determine your internal state unless you give them that power. Now, we're going to explore something that few teachers talk about: the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Most manifestation teaching focuses on the destination. Visualize your goal. Feel it as already done. Act as if. But what about the time between deciding what you want and actually having it? What about the gap? This is where most people fall apart. This is where the chaos hits hardest, because in the gap, nothing has changed yet in the external world. You've set your intention, you've raised your vibration, but your bank account still shows the same number. Your relationship status hasn't changed. Your health condition persists, and your brain says, "See, this doesn't work. You're just fooling yourself." This is the moment of greatest power, and the moment where most people quit. Neville Goddard called this period the bridge of incidents, the series of events that must unfold to bring your desire from the fourth dimension, imagination, into the third dimension, physical reality. During this bridge, you must maintain your state. You must hold your vision regardless of current circumstances. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Not, "Believe you will receive it." Believe you have received it. Present tense. Already done. The gap is where faith becomes real. Not blind faith, but scientific faith, based on understanding how consciousness creates reality. Here's how to navigate the gap. 1. Celebrate progress, not just results. Every small shift is proof that your vibration is changing. Someone smiles at you randomly? That's your field expanding. An unexpected $20 appears? That's the universe responding. A solution to a problem suddenly occurs to you? That's inspiration flowing. Don't dismiss these as coincidences. They're evidence. 2. Detach from the how. Your job isn't to figure out how your desire will manifest. Your job is to maintain the frequency of already having it. The how is the universe's job. As Rumi said, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." 3. Accept the gap as sacred. The gap is where you transform into the person who can hold what you're asking for. If you want $1 million but you have poverty consciousness, getting that million would destroy you. You'd lose it quickly and be worse off than before. The gap is where your consciousness upgrades to match your desire. So here we are. We've journeyed through the two worlds, the BECA Framework, emotional mastery, the desire spiral, practical techniques, neutrality, quantum reality, and navigating the gap. You now have a complete system for maintaining high vibration, even in the midst of chaos. But knowledge without application is just entertainment. The question is, what will you do with this information? Will you watch this video, feel inspired for a few hours, and then fall back into old patterns? Or will you commit to practicing these principles every single day until they become your new default. The choice, as always, is yours. Remember, your external circumstances do not define you. Your internal environment defines you. You are not your problems. You are not your past. You are not your current bank balance or relationship status or health condition. You are pure consciousness, temporarily playing in physical form, with the infinite power to create and recreate your reality at any moment. The spiral of everything you desire is right here, inches from your heart. Stop contracting. Stop rowing away from it. Expand. Choose neutrality. Work your BECA. And watch as your reality shifts in ways that will amaze you. I believe in you. Not because I know you personally, but because I know what you're made of. You're made of the same consciousness that created galaxies, that grows flowers from seeds, that heals wounds automatically, that dreams dreams and makes them real. You've got this. Now, before you go, remember to subscribe to Attraction Magnet if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. These teachings will change your life if you let them. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one external situation you're going to practice neutrality with this week? Share it with the community. When you declare your intention publicly, you're 10 times more likely to follow through. And smash that like button if this video resonated with you. It helps more people find this content who desperately need it. Until next time, stay light, stay powerful, and remember, the chaos around you has no power over the peace within you unless you give it permission. See you in the next one.